Alright, so a lot of people have requested this, and I'm finally gonna do it. We're gonna look at the account entirely, and this time I get to show you guys how many crystals were spent as well because of the annual evaluation thing, which shows the total amount of crystals spent throughout the life of the account, I think. And yeah, just bear in mind, top up and crystals spent are two different things because crystals spent include those that you farm for as well. Also, you can add this 36,770 because these were spent after that whole number was gotten, and I'll have that at the end of the video. But first, we'll look at all the stuff we have, starting with battle suits. So the first one, of course, is going to be Kiana, and in the past they called them the Big Four, which is Kiana, Mei, Bronya, and Himeko, and they are the only ones with B rank battle suits. So starting with White Comet, she is, like, I think number 2 in relevance. She does help with, like, her evasion, giving your entire team SP. And so that's useful in certain bosses in the Memorial Arena, but don't worry about B ranks because we can get their fragments daily, 2 random ones, and you also get them quite easily from Dorm Supply, so yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it. You know, over, like, maybe a year, you'll get most of them to SS, which is what's happening on my Chinese account. Then of course we have the A ranks. So if you need like high damage in a short amount of time, go for Fort Drifter, but she does need some specific equipment like Tranquil Arias. And yeah, but if you do get Tranquil Arias, like maybe from the BP shop, then she's a really viable option if you have Jingwei T. I mean, better choice would be Schrodinger T, but Jingwei T is okay. If you have Plank M, it's okay, but otherwise you can go for... Yeah, I think you really need Plank M. And then you could also go for Lear B or Newton B if you want her to be like the kind of DPS that she is. Then of course we have Night Moonbeam. So I wouldn't talk about like most of the battle suits that are obvious, like Divine Prayer, who's a really good support for physical and like has some really niche uses. So, you know, this is gonna be as short as it can be. But Night Moonbeam, S-base, farmable, go for her. I think you can get it under a year. That's what one of like the people I know got. And you can go for Lightning Empress and Night Moonbeam, but go for Night Moonbeam first, then Lightning Empress to SS. But try to obtain both of them because they're really useful. And then of course we have the Herrscher of the Void, which I got to SS only on the second time her banner was out. I got it like the first time, like with all the equipment, and then I waited, and I only spent about like 28 to 30k for her S to SS, which is really good on average. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's move on to Mei. So like I said, Lightning Empress, you know, the whole thing about what I was going on with Night Moonbeam, same thing. And then of course, like Crimson Impulse, I feel like she's the least relevant because like even Battlestorm can be a Blood Dance wielder. So yeah, don't worry too much about Crimson Impulse. Most of her A ranks have also fallen off, but I mean, Fulminata is not too bad. Then of course we have Herrscher of Thunder. I got her SS right off the bat. She's really strong. It's not necessary to get her to SS. S rank is strong enough. I just happen to want that extra push, so I went for it. And then of course we have the Herrscher of Reason. Probably on the same level of priority as the Herrscher of Thunder. I mean, like in terms of power, I feel like they're pretty good in their own aspect. So it's like that equal level of power, but one's ice, mech, and they're just lightning, psychic. So do try to go for any one of them as like your main DPS. If you're new or like if you're halfway saving for crystals, I think they make a good priority. But the Herrscher of Reason has been around for a pretty long time, so there is of course the chance of like her life expiring. I wouldn't say expiring, but like her falling out of relevance. So maybe in this time period, the Herrscher of Thunder might be the better bet. And of course we have Valkyrie Chariot, who's like the most relevant in terms of like all the B ranks. Just because she can apply bleeding and she can pull enemies together. She can apply ignite easily as well with her basic attack. And she's basically a good DPS in Masters. Then of course we have Yamabuki, which is also Drive Kometa. And she's really useful, but earlier I mentioned that you sometimes would use Lear B, and her shield is going to help you maintain that DPS because you need your HP at 100%. So Wolf's Dawn and Snowy Sniper, you need them at SS for them to actually be useful. It's really worth for Snowy Sniper. I hardly use her as much as I did before, mainly because like I feel Starlight Astrologos has taken her place, but she's still really strong. And then of course we have Dimension Breakers. So the least relevant of the farmable S ranks, I feel. I never really got to use her much. She used to be a bit of a DPS when the game first started, but that was a long time ago. And she hasn't had a lot of practical use on the field, so yeah, I don't see a lot of people going for her in terms of like farming. And as you can see, mine is still at its base S rank. I farmed 80 fragments, got her unlocked, and left her there. Black Nucleus, she was relevant as one of the stronger DPSs, physical DPSs, for a long period of time, but I only obtained her when she kind of fell off. I mean, it was for her basic costume, so not too bad, but yeah, bear in mind, if you happen to have gotten her from Dorm Supply, she can be useful, but she's really hard to build upon, so I mean, it is a bit of an unfortunate random drop, but you can still make use of her if you have like no other option, basically. And on to the Himeko battlesuits, which are mostly support, unfortunately, because they are Blood Dance wielders. Kriegsmesser has like the passive ice buff, and unfortunately Valkyrie Triumph, who used to be a DPS way back, not really. I don't think you could actually say that. Her and Scarlet Fusion were actually used to deal damage for a really short period of time, but they're mainly just supports, mainly just for Blood Dance. And, you know, Valkyrie Triumph has a really good ultimate as a support, but she gains SP really slowly, and she needs too much SP for that ultimate, so that makes her irrelevant in that sense. And yeah, so we have Scarlet Fusion, who's also like one of the main Blood Dance wielders. Kriegsmesser I already mentioned, and then we have Blood Rose. She is a Blood Dance wielder as well, but she can be really useful as a DPS. So and she's farmable as an S base, by the way, so if you do need one Fire Psychic, try to get her double S. She's really strong when she gets to double S. I don't really need that much of a Fire Psychic. I do have some alternatives, so mine's still at S rank, but when I am done farming like Molotov Cherry and stuff, I would jump over to Blood Rose and try to get her triple S. Probably gonna take like half a year or something, but it'd be nice. Then of course Vermilion Knight. Her and Argent Knight I wanted at double S, but I only got Argent Knight because her advanced supply came at a good time. Vermilion Knights did not, so I just decided not to go for it as a good financial decision. Also, S rank has been working really well for me, so why not, you know? If I do get another chance, like I'm hoping like some events will give out her fragments, or you know, even if we get like 10 or something, it still adds up, right? But unfortunately, yeah, she's gonna stay at S rank for the foreseeable future. Quite unfortunate. I would like to see her at double S just because it's gonna be easier to be doing some strats, but I'm okay with that. Theresa. Now Theresa, you know, she has a lot of niche uses. Over Judah on Valkyrie Pledge used to be one of the main boss killers, but that did last for quite a bit, so that was pretty cool. But obviously that phase is over, and the other two A ranks, I mean aside from Starlight Astrologos, they used to have their own niche uses, not so relevant anymore, but they were the kind of like, oh, they can actually do that, and it's really impressive, but that's the only thing they can do. So, you know, fallen out of relevance, but still nice to have, and if you have a shortage of options, then you might want to use them once in a while, but not exactly the most relevant battlesuits. Then of course we have the core 3, who are really great. Violet Executor, everything you need to get her to, I mean her base form to triple S and then her augment to 6 stars, you can get them for free over time, and it doesn't even take like super long, so she's a really good option. Also her equipment is pretty easy to get, except for her cross. I do have Silver Cleaver at 50 on my my F2P account, but that's basically not the best. She's not like, she's doing okay damage. And then we have the Celestial Hymn, the top of the list. Like if you have to prioritize anything for your spending, always prioritize the Celestial Hymn, because she is like top tier, top tier. There is an overview on her on the channel, so you might want to check that out. If I mean I get a lot of people asking like, why do you like the Celestial Hymn so much and stuff like that. Basically, she was like, anytime there's a physical team, she's there, and she's really useful in too many ways. And then we have now the Fuhua battlesuit. So Shadow Knight, I got her to triple S really easily because there's that event, you guys might recall. I think we got like 75, more than 75, I think somewhere around 90 fragments, which is a really huge boost for an S rank. And then the remaining I did from an advanced supply. I think I did like 40 or 50 pulls. And yeah, pretty easily triple S. I think many people have her at double S. F2P is as well. I have her at double S on my Chinese account, which is also F2P. She has a really good leader skill. She has cap score on Argent Knight and DXY. So she's a really good option. And then we have the Azure Imperia. So, okay, I just want to talk about Shadow Knight a bit more. Like, she's not 100% necessary, but she's a really good option. Then we have Azure Imperia, also the same thing basically. Like, she's not 100% necessary, but she is a great option. I wouldn't say she's on the same level as the Celestial Hymn, but in terms of like having an elemental support, she is really useful in many ways. She can help your team with SP regeneration, she can gather enemies, she can immobilize them, she has really good elemental breach. So I would say she's close to the Celestial Hymn's tier of like support usefulness, but not on the same level. Then we have Valkyrie Exhibitor and her augmented form, Hawk of the Fog. Really, really good free Psychic Lightning DPS. I would recommend people going for her, along with Nightscar, who is a really strong bio physical DPS. She's definitely top tier in more ways than one. She can match the scores of some of the S rank DPSs, so definitely go for her. It doesn't really even cost you anything. And then of course we have the S rank farmable, which is Phoenix. Unfortunately, Shadow Knight was not farmable, is still not farmable, but we still have Phoenix, who is a pretty good elemental support. She was one of the top elemental supports when she first came out, all the way until Azure Imperia, which says a lot. And then of course we move on to Rita. So Argent Knight, like I mentioned earlier, I wanted her at double S. Actually, you should actually prioritize Vermilion Knight if you can over Argent Knight in terms of like getting to double S. But I had the mindset that I would get both. Didn't really expect to not go forward with Vermilion Knights, but I felt that financially it was a good choice. I mean, I do spend a lot, and I sometimes just go all out just for what I want, but even so, you know, if you make bad decisions, you just, even spending won't help you in that sense. So, just wanted to put it out there. And then of course we have Phantom Iron. She was relevant for quite a bit, especially when we were still in Masters. She could kill Benares the fastest among all, but that didn't last for too long. Then of course we have Umbra Rose. Useful to an extent, still useful if you're like F2P and you want a Psychic Physical. I use her on my Chinese account for quite a while. I think Valkyrie Muster also gives you a good amount of fragments, probably close to triple S, so that is pretty good for a while, but she falls off later on. And then of course we have Fallen Rosemary, so released quite recently from the time of making this video. She is, I mean, what more can I say? Her and all her equipment are free. You can get her to double S as well. Farmable, totally good elemental support. Maybe not the best in the Immortal Arena, but seeing more and more relevance as time goes on. So definitely what you would want to be spending your resources on if you can. Unfortunately though, she does have to be at double S to like really be a good support. And I don't have her there yet, but I'll get it in time. Then we get to Yae Sakura. So Miko used to be a good physical DPS. Not anymore, but she's still nice to have. Then of course we have the top tier fire bio type, which is Flame Sakitama. Easy to equip, easy to use. I really like her. I mean, I don't know about easy to use for everyone, but I feel that she's okay. Lightning Dark Ball Jonin, pretty good. Memento needs a bit of niche equipment on her, but in general still good against many bosses, even in Exalted. Then we have Cullen. Cullen hasn't seen too much use. Like, she's the battlesuit that I use the least of, like any of her battlesuits. They just aren't super relevant in playstyle, but if you want to goof off and use like something new aside from most of the battlesuits that we usually see, she's there. You know? Not like the best selection. And I mean, she's fun to play at times, but I have Zutenjäger fragments in the boxes that we get from the Immortal Arena, and she's still double S. That shows like how little I look at the Cullen stuff. 6 Serenade used to be good. I got her to double S pretty easily from the event that she came out with, but she hasn't seen too much use other than that one version that she was out. And then of course we have the Ioneva twins with the recent addition of Fervent Tempo, and for mine, I have Molotov Cherry almost at triple S. If I claim the box that you guys saw earlier, I would have 39 fragments, so that would be 2 weeks away by War Treasury farming to get her to triple S. and eventually 6-star as well. And of course we have Blueberry Blitz. The fragments are easily available from the Chronicles. She is, really easy to get. She can play physical DPS if you have the right tools for her, but she's mainly used as a support. Not too bad. She's really highly versatile. I do recommend that you get her to at least double S, just for stats, if she's relevant to you, of course. And then we have Stygian Nymph, one of the battle suits that I did think of getting to double S. I know a lot of people have her at triple S and double S as well, but I feel like S rank has been serving me pretty well, just like how Vermilion Knight is at S rank. So like, it is on the back of my mind to want to get her to maybe double S, but as long as there's no well-timed advanced supply, she's just gonna stay S. Even whales have to make good financial decisions, and she is still a top tier quantum physical DPS. She has really easy quantum implosion without needing any SP and having her ultimate right off the bat. So that's all the uses she has. Really, really good if you happen to get her, or if you want to aim for her, she is worth aiming for. Salto Phantasm, the first quantum battlesuit ever to hit the game, also has access to quantum implosion naturally like all the quantum battlesuits. And what can I say, she's a really good and easily obtainable physical DPS. Then we have also quantum Valkyrie Gloria. I guess you would mainly want her for her quantum implosion. I know I've been saying quantum implosion a lot, but that's their main use, if because you don't have to build anything and it's easily available over there. Other than that, she is mid-tier fire, I guess. Fire is pretty easy to equip, so that's a plus, but I do have like Flame Sakatama and Vermilion Knight, so she's okay. And then we move on to Bright Knight Excelsis, my prized possession, the only S-based battlesuit that I got to triple S right off the bat from the expansion banner. Unfortunately, she's not the most relevant of battlesuits. She is really good, like if you do have her at triple S. Double S is where she gets stronger, but she hasn't seen too much action really. She does have like a lot of alternatives and not the best option to be getting to triple S, but I like the character, so what can I say? That's what I did. Oops, clicked on that by accident. We're moving on to weapons. So I'm not going to talk too much about weapons, mainly like if you can get those that get you to PRI, try to get them. 11th Laser Gia, Positron, Mag Typhoon, really good options. Rear Radius EX is also really viable because Picasso is also for free, so if you have Drive Kometa, that's going to make it really, really strong. The others, it depends on whether or not they're available to you. Of course, you want to get Blood Dance if you can, try to get 2, try to get DXY Sword, it's free, why not? Thunder Kikaku would be useful on Divine Prayer. Then we have Tranquil Arias maybe, Grips of Taishan is a Divine Key, so that's pretty good as well. Heikate's Gloom gonna be good on Twilight Paladin, Zitter's Lament, always good, Iris of the Dreams, easily obtainable. And then we have Star of Eden, which a lot of people ask me about. Like, if you're gonna go for it just for the 10 attack from the Divine Key Sync, don't. If you want it as like a support, it's really niche. I use it quite often, mostly on Jizo, but it's not like a necessity as a support weapon. So mainly just don't go too crazy for that. I do have the Shunyan Sword, which also is used for Divine Key Synchronization. And yeah, those are the honorable mentions. Then we go to Stigmata. So I'm gonna make this also really quick. Like Shakespeare, if you can get all 3 of them, they're good for their respective elements. 51% to the element that they have. All 3 elements are, in all 3 parts. Jingwei T, definitely the most easily obtainable and high damaging T part for bosses in the Memorial Arena. Try to get it. Lear B as well, really good with a shield. And then we have the Newtons, so try to get about like 3 or 4, that'll be enough. Then try to move on to getting May Beach Parties. 1 or 2 is also good. You don't need as many as I have, but sometimes I screw up and lock stuff wrongly, so having extras are good. But don't worry too much about it. I know I have 8 of them, but you don't need that many. Like 3 or 4, you're somewhere good in terms of like Masters or even Exalted. Like the recommended, I think it's 6 or 7, but nowadays we have like a lot more options. So, you can go for those. Also, the good ones are like GST, as you guys might see, and Gustav. I have 2 sets of each, TNM for each of them. Then we also have Shui Jing, which is also good because it doubles up as a offensive set as well as a defensive one. So that's one of those that you want to go for. Of course, don't forget to get Musician, Fuhua Musician, because it's free. Don't forget to get Picasso. And yeah, those are mainly what we go for. The rest of them are all like the event one and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for equipment. I'm trying not to go on for too long because like it's already a 20-minute video. But yeah, just to show you guys, I also do have all else maxed out because we're about to look at the annual report, which is going to show my crystal spending. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and like I said at the start of the video, crystal spending and top up are not the same thing. We're gonna have an event where you guys can guess my top up, and we'll announce the prizes and how the event is done later on in another video. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video so far, and I'm gonna leave you guys with the evaluation thing. Until then guys, this has been MG. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.